Welcome to the Coasters and Kickz podcast, the show that's bringing you updates on Florida's theme parks and the hottest upcoming shoe releases. What is going on, you guys? It's a wonderful day here in Florida. I'm your host, Desmond, and welcome to the very first episode of Coasters and Kickz. I'm going to be going over a few things today as far as questions and answers, just giving you guys a taste of what is to come with Coasters and Kickz going forward. Grab your sneaks, go ahead and lace up and strap in. Let's get started. First things first, first question I actually have to answer was my top 5 roller coasters. And honestly, it's kind of hard to say. I'm actually really anticipating riding that new roller coaster that they actually opened up at Universal Orlando. It's Islands of Adventure, if I'm not mistaken. It is the Velocicoaster. I've heard many great things. And as of recently, they were just doing some testing and actually allowing annual pass holders to reserve spots and actually even a wait list for the annual pass holders to go ahead and actually ride Velocicoaster before it's actually officially open on June 10th. Honestly, I can't say much, but I know for a fact I am super excited and ready to ride that. But of course, that's off topic. My favorite roller coaster would have to be the Hulk. That roller coaster brings back so many memories from when I was a kid, taking my sister to the park with my mom. And we actually got a chance to ride the Hulk. And as we're riding the ride, it goes to counting down like it normally does. 3, 2, and she's like, why is it counting down? And we're literally just, nowhere near the top. Before it even got a chance to say 1, before my sister got a chance to say 1, it launched us. And mind you, she's like maybe 9 at the time. She doesn't listen to rock music at all. And all of a sudden it launches us and she's screaming 1 out of nowhere and starts to scream, rock and roll, rock and roll. And I'm like, yo, where do you get this from? That's new, right? So that's my favorite coaster. It has so many memories for me. My second favorite roller coaster would have to be Cheetah Hunt here in Tampa at Busch Gardens. Love that launch sequence. Of course, I'm more of a thrill seeker. So when it comes to things like that, those Giga coasters, I love those. My third favorite roller coaster would have to go to the Mummy. I love the storytelling that the Mummy has. It's like no other, really. It's one of a kind. And one of my best friends, Jonathan, we both know the complete script to it, that we'll actually read it as we're writing it. So my fourth favorite roller coaster would have to be, I'm gonna go with Montu. I love the inversions and the feeling of being weightless as you're riding it. Love the Montu. That's also here in Tampa at Busch Gardens. And my fifth favorite roller coaster, last but not very least, would have to be Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure. The storytelling in that and the random drop and, sudden turns of that coaster sets it apart from just any old regular coaster. I love that ride. And it's at Universal Orlando. If you get a chance to ride, by all means, you will not regret it, even if it's a long wait time. All right. Now, on to my next question. My top 5 pairs of shoes. And to be more specific, I'm going to go ahead and go with my favorite numbers because I'm a huge Jordan fan, So my number 1, of course, all-time Jordan would have to be the Jordan 11. That mid to high top feeling, is a snug shoe. It feels like it runs a little smaller in the toe box. But my favorite colorway of that 11 would have to be the Bread 11, the iconic black and red 11. I love that. My second favorite Jordan would have to be, I'm going to go with the Retro 1s. That classic style of Retro 1. And I don't know why it gets so much hate. It's a wonderfully crafted shoe. And in all honesty, it's a great pair of shoes to actually rock. It can practically go with anything. Shorts, swim trunks, joggers, jeans. Right. So if you can't wear ones, just say that. For my third favorite shoes, go with, matter of fact, instead of Jordan, I'm going to have to go with the Adidas. It's going to have to be the Yeezy 350 version 2s. I love that shoe. It's a very breathable shoe and actually really comfortable to walk in as long as you're going with a shoe size up or two because it kind of does run kind of tight, really. But honestly, it's a lovely shoe. I love that shoe. My favorite colorway would have to be that bread colorway, the all black with the red stitching and that red writing on the side of it. I love that shoe. All right, for my fourth favorite pair of shoes, honestly, I'm gonna have to go with the Star Wars Adidas. What are those? Those NMDs, if I'm not mistaken. That shoe, Adidas, honestly, is a quality shoe when it comes to comfort and breathability, and it's so lightweight. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so on the back of the shoe, it has Star Wars quotes, and actually on the tongue of it, it actually has Darth Vader because I have the Darth Vader pair. And if I could get a pair of the Yoda versions of those that are like black with the white midsole, with the green on the back of it, with Yoda on the tongue, I would absolutely shoot on that pair. I'd grab them. I would have to grab them because that shoe is so very comfortable and goes with a lot, honestly. Joggers or shorts in specific, of course, to run with, right? So, my fifth favorite pair of shoes. This is going to be a tough one. Oh, matter of fact, I'm going to go with the Nike Air Max 95s. Those Nike Air Max 95s are a beauty on foot. I actually have the Jason Tatum pair of them. I think it is really dope to actually have, a collab, with the Jason Tatums. If I'm not mistaken, all on the shoe, it kind of looks like a city, right? Or specific details from Jason Tatum's life, right? On the shoe, you got like scribbles of Jason Tatum's dog. You actually got the arch that's in St. Louis, which is where he's from. On the tongue, it's like a silver tab at the very top that actually has Tatum's name on it, like his last name on it. That shoe, honestly, is a great shoe, lovely shoe. And don't even get me started when it's in the dark. That bottom of it, where the scribble, well, not necessarily scribble, but the art is depicted, where you got the basketball court, you got St. Louis, you got a little Band-Aid, you got his dog, right? It's actually like a reflective. So at night, it looks so dope. So that would have to be those are my top 5 favorite shoes I'm gonna have to go with. I absolutely love those shoes. And honestly, when I get a chance to grab another pair, I'm gonna have to probably those LeBron James collab they did. That was really dope. Now, my next topic, I actually had someone ask me, what is my top favorite park? So I'm gonna just go with my top favorite park. Top favorite park would have to be, let's see, I'm gonna go with Hollywood Studios, Disney's Hollywood Studios, which formerly known by MGM Studios. That park, to me, is amazing. Of course, me being a huge Star Wars fan, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, I love the atmosphere. The stormtroopers walking around, they see you with a lightsaber, they might question you. They might even take you to Kylo Ren, which is like the big bad in Star Wars for, my listeners that's not really big on Star Wars. And honestly, their interactions that they actually have with the guests and, each other is simply amazing. I actually got stopped and I actually had my lightsaber out. And one of the stormtroopers stopped and looked at me and pointed at me and said, "Very impressive. I would assume that you're a collector and not a Jedi," basically making fun of me or ragging on me. I'm like, whoa, you didn't have to do that. It's a huge crowd of other people. And I told him, I was like, yeah, you're right. And honestly, I was not ready for this next portion. But what he said next was good at the top of his lungs. And I'm like, oh, wow. Okay, kind of burned. I'm not going to lie, right? But the character interactions there are absolutely amazing. And don't get me started on Rock and Roller Coaster and Tower of Terror. Like I said, I'm a thrill seeker. I love those 2 rides at that park. It's simply amazing. Now, another question I actually had, here's another topic, of course, was which parks do you want to travel to? In all honesty, I'm a comic fan as well. So my top park that I want to visit next is absolutely going to have to be Disneyland in California. They actually are building Avengers Campus over there. Me being a huge comic fan, it actually set to open up on June 4th. And unfortunately, due to COVID-19, Disneyland is only open to California residents, of course. But as soon as they open up, by all means, I will be there. Avengers Campus looks so dope. They actually have the Sanctum Sanctorium, of course, which is where you could find Doctor Strange, of course, the ancient sanctum. They also have Avengers headquarters, which I'm super excited about. They actually have, of course, meet and greets there, and you can watch them basically go ahead and spring to action. So I would imagine they would have like a kind of like a like where they basically meet up, of course, for pictures, and then all of a sudden an alarm will go off and they'd all disperse, as if they're assembling. Which, not only that, they actually have a Quinjet on top of the Avengers headquarters, and that thing looks so amazing. It kind of looks a little bit smaller compared to what we've seen in the movies, but honestly, it's really amazing. Me being a Tower of Terror fan, Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, I've been dying to ride that for a while, of course. Over there, they actually have a Black Panther meet and greet as well at Disneyland in California, and I am super stoked to meet Black Panther. And that's my favorite character, Marvel character, aside from Spider-Man being my second character, which leads me into another attraction they actually have, which is the Web Slingers, a Spider-Man adventure, which is basically helping Spider-Man wrangle up spider bots, which is like an invention that he's created, that he uses to help save the day, of course. And honestly, I cannot wait. June 4th is grand opening, and I wish I could be there, but wishful thinking, right? All right. My second park I absolutely want to visit, Disneyland Paris. Over at Disneyland Paris, they actually have some of the most amazing hotels I've actually seen, really. Previously, I had been planning a trip, and I actually was looking into one of the hotels, Disney's Hotel New York, the Art of Marvel. And all throughout the resort itself, it just looks absolutely amazing. They actually have a few things there, like artwork from, the Marvel movies, and not only artwork, but they actually have like comic panel strips all throughout the lobby and things like that, which honestly is one of the coolest things I've seen. It's kind of reminds me of like the Disney's Art of Animation Resort, where they actually have not necessarily but the early sketches of what some of the Disney animated characters look like Simba from Lion King and Ariel from The Little Mermaid. It kind of reminds me of that. And not only that, one of the coolest things to me was the fact that they actually have memorabilia from some of the movies, like Tony Stark's Iron Man suit. If I'm not mistaken, they have one of those there that honestly looked like one of the coolest things ever. And don't get me started, if I wanted to book a 5-star hotel, I would totally book the Disneyland Hotel over in Paris. It kind of reminds me of the Grand Floridian here in Orlando, but in all honesty, it looks absolutely amazing. It gives off that entrance to the park, basically. It's right next to the entrance to the park. So I leave, and I can legit just enter the park because it's kind of attached, if I'm not mistaken, to the park, which is one of the coolest things that I've seen. Because at Disney World here in Orlando, there's no park that's technically directly attached to it that has its own entrance. We only really have the monorail line, which actually has Grand Floridian, the Polynesian Resort, and the Contemporary Resort, which are all attached to it by the monorail line. But of course, technically, you can walk into the park, yes, but it's a lot further away compared to the Disneyland Hotel in Paris. So Disneyland Paris, of course, is a must visit soon, one day, right? Right now, due to COVID, unfortunately, travel's kind of slowed down for us, for me and my fiance. But hopefully soon we'll be back up and running and traveling. All right. Now, like I said, you guys, this is going to be a shorter episode. This is just an introductory episode. And again, thank you for listening. If you have been listening up to this point, thank you so much for listening all the way through. Of course, next time on Coasters Kickz episode 2, I'll be bringing on a guest host. Not necessarily going to tell you who it is, but trust me, you'll want to listen in. There'll definitely be tons of laughter and many stories of park travels I've actually had with this guest. Until next time, Coasters Kickz fam, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share with your friends. See you guys next time.